Hey guys, John here from Sonic Drive Studio. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel once again. It's new guitar day because I got my ESP LTD Phoenix 1000 Evertune in silver sunburst. Woohoo! And the funny thing is that I wasn't even planning on getting this model because I was just a little bit unsure about the Evertune and stuff. But here we are. Gotta get them all, I guess. So in case you're not aware, I'm a huge ESP LTD Phoenix fan, as I currently have 8 of them, and 2 of them are duplicates, in fact, with different pickups. There's just something about these guitars that really speaks to me. I really like the unique body shape, I like the way that they're built, the features, and how they sound as well. And let's be honest, this silver sunburst version is quite the looker. What a gorgeous guitar this is. So last week I went online to my favorite shops and I went looking for the baritone 7-string version of the Phoenix, which I don't have yet, unfortunately, but it wasn't in stock anywhere, at least not in my favorite shops, but this one was, and that got me thinking. Could be cool. I mean, it's a gorgeous model after all, and this could be a nice opportunity to dive into the world of Evertune. And now it's here, it's mine, and I have to tell you, I really like this guitar. It's an interesting story though, because this guitar was not perfect when it arrived, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's take a listen to how this beast sounds. I'm gonna play some riffs through my ENGL Powerball II on the 4th channel, so the lead 4 channel with the bridge pickup. So the Fishman Fluence Modern Ceramic on the passive voicing. Let's go ahead and check it out right now. Enjoy. Alrighty, so let's dive in and do some more clips as we go along. So when I got this guitar, I took it out of the box, checked it out, if everything looked okay, and everything looked fine. Started playing it for a bit, but I didn't like the stock strings. That always happens. I usually tend to hate the stock strings on guitars when I buy them. So I took off the strings, and when I took off the strings, I immediately noticed something that I didn't like. There were 2 cracks in the Ebony fretboard. One on the 4th fret over here, and another one on the 16th fret over here, high up on the neck. And I'm afraid that this might be a common issue these days with import guitars, and I think primarily ones from Indonesia, because Solar guitars have also been having issues with their Ebony fretboards having cracks, but I'm not entirely sure on that. So do correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But this is actually the first time ever that this had happened to me. So I was a little bit bummed out, to be honest. However, before I decided what to do, I put some oil on the fretboard, put some fresh strings on, my favorite strings, which is Elixir 11s for D and primarily for drop C. I tuned the guitar, set up the bridge and the action and all that stuff, and I just started playing the guitar. And as it turned out, I really liked the guitar. I mean, not only does it look amazing, but it played really well and it sounded really cool too. And I was really starting to enjoy the Evertune Bridge as well. We'll get to the Evertune later in the video, but basically it's a very good guitar aside from the flaws in the neck. So now I had to decide what to do. One option was to send the guitar back and get it fixed, or either wait for them to get a new one in stock, and they don't have these in stock very often at Thomann, and I just didn't want to wait very long, to be honest. So it was either that, or try to get a little bit of a discount for the damage, and then get it fixed by a local luthier, or try to do it myself. I had never fixed an issue like this before, but I was very eager to learn, so that's what I ended up doing. So I fixed the cracks completely, and they are now gone, so that's awesome. And I'm going to post a dedicated video on the channel soon about how I did that, and about how you can fix these issues for yourself if you encounter them on your guitar. Now, I can imagine that many of you would have sent this guitar back right away, and I would completely understand and agree with that. However, I just really enjoyed playing this guitar, so I wanted to see this as an opportunity to learn something new. And I just wanted to fix this ASAP because I just wanted to stop worrying about this guitar and just enjoy the guitar, if you know what I mean. Now, I don't know exactly where these issues come from. Maybe it's because they didn't properly dry the wood, or how they kept the wood, or maybe it happened during the shipment or after the shipment to Europe. I have no idea. I also don't know if this is a common issue with LTD guitars in general, so let me know in the comments down below if you've encountered such an issue with your LTD. Anyway, I'm happy, it's all good now, but it's important to note, and perhaps it's also important for ESP to know that these issues are happening if they are happening more often. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's explore this wonderful instrument. So, just as with all the other Phoenix models by LTD, this guitar has a neck-through design with a 25.5-inch skill, which is nice and long and great for drop tunings such as drop C, which is my main tuning for these guitars. So drop C with 11s by Elixir, which are my favorite strings. And this one has this very nice silver sunburst finish on the front and the back. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's also a satin finish, so it feels very smooth, and the neck feels very smooth as well. The extra jumbo stainless steel frets feel very smooth as well, so it's quite a nice guitar to play. It feels so silky smooth, basically. The body wings are made out of mahogany, and this one, unlike the others, has a maple cap. Now, I believe that the Phoenix 7 Baritone also has a maple cap, if I'm remembering that correctly. And there's also one other model that has a maple top, and that's the one with the quilted maple top, which is also awesome. And I actually got that guitar yesterday. So yeah, I got another one. Videos coming soon. But that's also an amazing guitar. And the guitar has non-locking Grover tuners, probably because of the Evertune. It doesn't really need locking tuners. And then we have the Fishman Fluence modern pickups, a ceramic in the bridge, and an Alnico in the neck. These pickups are in the red Deluxe as well, which I have up there, the golden ones, and then in one of my black metal LTDs, I still have the stock Fishman Fluence modern ceramic as well. And to be honest, these Fishman pickups have been growing on me lately. I just really enjoy having the option of 2 voicings per pickup. It makes them that much more versatile. So we have the passive voicing, which you get by pulling up the pot. And the passive voicing on this pickup sounds kind of like a Seymour Duncan JB, so it's quite dynamic with a nice and crispy top end and a fat bottom end. And that's the voicing that you heard in the intro. I quite like that voicing, to be honest. Sometimes in comparison to the active voicing, the low end is a little bit too much, but you just have to dial in your amps to suit that voicing basically. But yeah, it basically sounds more like a passive pickup. And then when you push this down, you get the active voicing, which kind of sounds like a hot-rodded EMG. So an EMG 81 kind of, but then more over the top. So more aggressive, more mid-range, and with less low end, so they sound a bit tighter. And by the way, the output on these pickups is quite high. They do cut through quite nicely. So now let's take a listen to how this guitar sounds with the bridge pickup with the active voicing. Again through the ENGL Powerball II, but this time through channel 3, so the lead 3 channel with the exact same setup. Let's check it out. right, that sounds quite tight and huge, right? Absolutely awesome. And of course, the tuning and intonation on this thing is quite stable because of the Evertune. Quite impressive. I wasn't even planning on getting a guitar with an Evertune. I guess I'm a little bit old school, so I was a little bit skeptical. Did I really need an Evertune? But now that I have one, it's finally time to check it out and to see how it sounds and to see how it works and if the concept really works. So perhaps I'm going to do more videos on this as well. For example, what I could do is compare the sound of this guitar to my red Deluxe with the same pickups and the same wood and all that stuff, and then see how much of a difference we can hear between this bridge and a Tune-O-Matic style bridge. So stay tuned for that if you guys are interested. But yeah, the Evertune does what it does, and it does it well. This guitar stays in tune really, really well. And the intonation is just way more stable, basically. So that's pretty interesting. And before I got this guitar, I did do some research. I watched all the tutorials and stuff. And this guitar did come with a nice manual and a special key for adjusting all the tunings and the intonation and stuff like that. So that's great. And setting this thing up for the first time did take a bit of time and effort. It does have a little bit of a learning curve, of course. But once you get it set up, you basically don't have to do anything. So that's cool. I have it set up so that you can do bends to varying degrees. But of course, you can also change that by sort of lowering the tension and stuff like that. So it's quite a flexible setup. So I'm kind of at the end of zone 2, near the edge of zone 3, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the intonation across the neck is very consistent, which is quite nice because sometimes I pull quite hard on the strings, and this helps to keep the tuning and intonation much more stable. So it's a very interesting concept, and it does work. But the feel and sound of the guitar is a little bit different than the guitars with the standard bridges. Now, I really enjoy the resonance of wood in my guitars. I love what it does for the feel, for the playing experience of the guitar, and also what it does for your tone. Whether that's subtle or not is a different discussion, of course. But that's just what it does for me. I just love that. I love it when a guitar resonates well. And these Phoenix models tend to resonate quite well because of the neck-through construction, the amount of wood that they have and all that stuff. And to be honest, this guitar does have a bit of a different timbre to it, a different tone, a different type of resonance, so to speak, because of the bridge. So it doesn't have that open and resonant, vibrant sound that you get with a Tune-O-Matic bridge, for example. And sometimes when I'm playing on this guitar, I do miss that sound a little bit. But when you plug it in and put it in a mix, it does sound great, to be honest. So again, I'm going to do a comparison soon of this guitar versus my red one with the Tune-O-Matic bridge, and it will be interesting to see how much of a difference there is in sound in a recording, basically. Now, I do think that the sound and tone of a guitar with the Evertune gets a little bit more synthetic, so to speak. Kind of anemic in a way, but that's not a bad thing per se. It really depends on your style, the way you play, what you expect from your instrument, what sort of needs you have, what sort of expectations you have of your guitar tone. And it's a little bit hard to explain, but because of the notes, because of the fact that they are so even sounding across the note, it sounds kind of a little bit more like a synthesizer, if you know what I mean. It's a bit more perfect and polished sounding when it comes to the pitch. Obviously, that's the whole idea. When you hit a string very hard, you don't get that boom, if you know what I mean. It's just very stable. You just get bah. And the feel of the strings when you hit them is a little bit more bouncy. It feels a little bit more like a floating bridge, like a Floyd Rose, for example. But again, it's a little bit different again. It's a unique experience for sure. Perhaps it's kind of a compromise, but I definitely understand why people like these bridges because the tuning stability and the intonation is insane with these things. In my opinion, it does change the sound of a guitar for better or worse. That's hard to say, to be honest, and that's very subjective. I really appreciate the tuning stability and the intonation, and it's cool to have a guitar with this installed. But sometimes when I'm playing this guitar, I do kind of miss that natural resonant sound of a standard normal wooden guitar with a Tune-O-Matic bridge. Now for clean tones, the Evertune is actually really nice for picking chords and stuff like that. It just keeps the intonation very consistent across the neck, and I really like that for clean tones. So now let's try some clean tones with the neck pickup on the active voicing, which is my favorite voicing on these pickups for clean tones. Again through the Powerball II, but this time on channel 3, and I'm gonna put my Laney Secret Path reverb pedal in the loop for some nice ambience. Let's go ahead and check it out right now. Cool, that sounds quite nice. So like I said, I really like that Alnico Fishman Fluence modern sound in the neck. For clean tones, it just sounds very nice. It reminds me kind of that EMG 60 sound, that Metallica clean tone, but it does have its own thing going on. Now in the passive voicing, I don't enjoy this pickup as much because it gets a little bit too thin for my taste. A little bit too spanky, so to speak. So what are my overall thoughts on this guitar? Well, I love this guitar. I like it a lot. It's beautiful. It plays great. It sounds awesome. The Evertune concept is very cool and very unique. So I'm glad that I have this guitar and that I can finally talk about the Evertune. The cracks in the Ebony board were a little bit disappointing, of course, but now that I've fixed them, I don't care anymore. I can just enjoy this guitar. It's perfect for me now. I could have sent it back, but I'm glad that I didn't, because I'm glad to have this instrument in my possession. And I can't wait to make more music with this thing, because as you heard in the demos, hopefully it sounds absolutely killer. Stay tuned for my video on repairing the cracks in the Ebony board very soon on the channel. Hopefully that will help some of you out. And some other videos that I can't wait to share with you guys, so stay tuned for that. And of course, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on this wonderful guitar. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe down below, as that really helps the channel out. I'd hugely appreciate that. And you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you guys so much, and hope to see you soon. Cheers!